All rise. The District Court of San Andreas is now in session. The Honorable Judge Castillo presiding.
I have no idea where he went.
Looking snazzy, Castillo. Very beautiful. Love the hair. Kisses.
I apologize, Ms. Castillo. I'm going to have to bring a prisoner through your court case.
That's fine. Take your time.
Send it.
Just a moment. Looking for my piece of paper. All right, thank you. Please be seated. Before we get started, defense, please let your defendant know, your client know that additional outbursts like that will not be acceptable in court. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court is now in session. We are here for State of San Andreas versus Philip Walker, case number 17974. And who do we have here representing the state? Please state your first and last name.
Raiden Haugensen.
And Danny Nihil.
Thank you. And for defense, please state your first and last name.
Jessica Patterson, Your Honor.
Thank you. Apologies, prosecution. Are your witnesses present?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Thank you. And defense, is your defendant present? Silly question.
I would believe so,
Yes.
Your Honor.
All right, just formalities. All right, and we already handled our pre-trial motion. Here, prosecution, please read the list of charges.
Thank you, Your Honor. The charges today are PC 1107, unarmed federal bank robbery. PC 1108, hostage taking federal. PC 2309, felony evading law enforcement with vehicle. And PC 3207, possession of illegal contraband.
All right, defense, what is your defendant plea to these charges?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you. Prosecution, you have the well. Please proceed with your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. On October the 7th of this year, alarms rang at the Pacific Standard Bank on Alton Street and Vinewood Boulevard, which Exhibit 1 shows as the dispatch call came through. Units responded, including Air 1, flown by Captain Arnom, who you will hear from later. The defendant's vehicle was sitting outside the bank, which is also shown in Exhibit B1. The helicopter and the officers chased... Oh, sorry, it wasn't B1. Yes, it was. I apologize. The officers led into a chase with the vehicle, with 3 individuals on board who exited the bank. They were clearly identified by what they were wearing, and eyes were never taken off them from in the bank into the cars throughout the whole chase. They were covered by Air 1, so nothing was missed. It ended in a shootout where officers and the suspects all took injuries. We will show today that the defendant, through testimony and exhibits, is guilty beyond a doubt of all charges. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, defense.
Your Honor, in this trial, you'll see the prosecution failed to provide proof beyond reasonable doubt that the defendant was involved in this alleged robbery. The defendant was not involved in this robbery and should be found not guilty on all charges. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Prosecution, are you ready to call your first witness?
Yes, ma'am. The prosecution would like to call Captain Arnom.
sucks and died.
Your Honor, which side would you like me on?
To the right of my chair.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Captain.
Hello.
Maybe after
If you
the
would,
trial.
please go ahead and raise both hands for me. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right,
feel like
you would
it's kinda
put
rude
step
just
on
to
there
go,
to the right of the chair.
Bring him out of the trial.
All right.
Permission to approach the well, Your Honor.
The will is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Captain Arnom, how are you today, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we address a microphone issue first?
Is there?
Mine?
Arnom, your microphone is buzzing.
Just give it a tap on the
Yeah,
desk there. It's right in front of
I,
How about now?
No, it started as soon as you approached this area.
What
Please-
the heck?
If you step back.
How about now?
Yeah, just yell.
Okay. I'm good at that. Can everyone hear me that needs to hear me?
Yes, sir.
God bless.
Captain Arnom, on October the 7th, 2021, did you respond to a dispatch call of the alarm being triggered at the Pacific Standard Bank located on Alton Street and Vinewood Boulevard, as shown in Exhibit 1?
I did do that.
Okay, and were you flying Air 1 at the time?
I was, yes. As much as I don't like responding to those types of calls, when I do, I try to fly the helicopter.
Okay. Did you see a black and colored buffalo parked outside the front doors, as Exhibit 2A shows?
I did, yes.
In your statement, you stated that free passage was given to the suspects. Is that correct?
Yep. Standard procedure is to, safety of the hostages is #1 priority, and they requested free passage to that buffalo in exchange for safety of the hostages.
Okay, so how many hostages were there in the bank? Do you know?
I do not recall. I was in Air 1. I
Okay.
wasn't part of the negotiations.
No worries. Is it standard procedure to negotiate for free passage for the release of hostages?
Yeah, it's kind of the bread and butter right there as far as negotiations go.
Would free passage be given without hostages?
Your Honor, objection, speculation.
In your professional opinion, Captain,
Our
Is
professional
it-
opinion, no. We do not give free passage if there are no hostages involved.
thank you. During your time in Air 1, you followed the entire chase for the entirety of it, correct?
I did, yes.
Did you lose sight of the suspects at any point?
At all parts of the pursuit, I did have eyes on suspects from the pursuit, yes.
Does that include the defendant here?
The defendant here, Philip Walker, was wearing the green jumpsuit. There was a moment in time where I pulled off of his vehicle, but there were 2 other police vehicles on his vehicle the whole time.
Okay. So, Mr. Walker was, in your statement, the person wearing the green jumpsuit.
Correct.
Hang on, I am just re-going over my notes. Give me 1 sec. You also took down another suspect in this wearing red, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Where did you pick up the buffalo again?
So while I don't want to ramble too much, but
Yep, no worries.
when we were chasing the buffalo originally, it stopped behind the Pink Cage Motel. 2 of the suspects, the one wearing the green jumpsuit, the one wearing the red jumpsuit, hopped out of the Buffalo and hopped into a black and colored Sultan. I was at the pink cage, and I stayed on that in Air 1. I stayed on that until 2 of our police vehicles caught up to it and were with it. And then Sergeant Angela Storm from the San Andreas State Police called out that she was chasing the Buffalo once again. And once I felt we had sufficient numbers on the black and colored Sultan that was occupied by Mr. Walker, and he's actually driving it, I immediately pulled off to help out and support Sergeant Storm with her pursuit, because she was the only person on that one. And that was literally right beside the chase where we were. So I swapped from the Sultan that Mr. Walker was in to the Buffalo that I cannot recall who was in it. I believe his name was Jamal Brown at the time.
Okay. So we have. So did you apprehend Mr. Walker yourself?
Mr. Walker was down inside the Sultan after they had a car accident of sorts. Not 100% sure what caused their accident, but I do believe I removed Mr. Walker from his vehicle and treated him for his wounds, which was a bit of chest bruising from slamming off the steering wheel, is what I would determine.
So once you had provided medical care for the defendant, Mr. Walker, did you place him into custody?
Yeah, he was put in custody right away.
Did you search the defendant?
I did not. Officer Kenny Moon did.
Okay. You, once everyone had been to Pillbox, gained the ID of Mr. Walker through fingerprints, correct?
Correct. I fingerprinted him in the cells at MRPD.
And that would be Exhibit 4, if you could have a look at that and tell me if that is correct.
Give me one moment. On my list here, it says C, but...
Sorry, yeah, C.
Just want to make sure. Yep.
My bad. See, at least you looked. Anyway. So, I just want to make sure that I have covered everything. I believe I have. No further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, this such does.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
Defense, you have the will?
Yes, Your Honor. Permission to move freely?
Granted.
How are you today, Mr. Arnom?
I'm doing all right.
All right. You said you never lost sight of them throughout the entire chase. Is that correct?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
I believe that's allowed in redirect.
That's correct, but this is cross.
So it's
My exact statement was I never lost eyes of the suspects involved throughout the entire chase, correct?
did they? Could you tell me roughly where they went during the chase?
To be honest, no, I don't notate exact locations where everyone went. I can give you key locations. We were at PSB, went from PSB to behind Pink Cage Motel, from behind Pink Cage Motel to around the canals, the Los Santos canals that run parallel to Little Bighorn. And then our final resting area for everyone was the train yard off of Little Bighorn and Integrity Way.
Understood. Did they ever enter any of the tunnels in those canals?
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right. Give me 1 second. No more questions for this witness.
Prosecution, do you have a redirect?
I have one further question, if I may ask it, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Captain Arnom, you stated earlier that Mr. Walker was wearing a green jumpsuit. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you were stationed in the air above the Pacific Bank as the suspects exited the bank?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Did you have a clear view of the front of the bank?
Yeah, I had clear eyes on the front door and the vehicle parked in front.
Did you see the defendant leave the bank wearing a green jumpsuit? Sorry, that's compounding. I'll object for you. Did you see the defendant leave the bank? I'm sorry, I didn't hear an answer.
Yes, I did. And actually, in the picture that I took of the vehicle, you can see him leaving the bank, walking towards the driver's seat of his car.
And he was wearing a green jumpsuit at this time.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. No further question.
Okay. Am I good?
Yes, you're free to return to your seat, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Prosecution, have another witness to call?
Yes, Your Honor. Is Officer Storm here?
I am.
Awesome.
Hello, Sergeant.
Hello.
All right, if you would, please go ahead and raise both hands for me. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, if you would, go ahead and stand to the right of that chair there. Next one over.
Your Honor, can I be free to move?
Yeah, the will is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant Storm, how are you today?
Sergeant Storm, you might want to come. Do you see the microphone?
Yes, I'm doing well, thank you. How are
Okay.
you?
I am very well, thank you. On the date previously established as October the 7th, 2021, were you involved in a dispatch call to the Pacific Standard Bank located on Alton Street and Vinewood Boulevard as shown in Exhibit 1?
I was.
What was your role in responding to this?
I was one of the pursuit vehicles.
Were you involved in securing the bank?
No, I was in the pursuit. I believe I may have started out actually on secondary in that pursuit.
Okay. I just want to clear a few things up about the bank, if I may. Were you actually at the bank? Or
I was actually physically at the bank. I was parked on Alta. My vehicle was facing southbound. I had clear view of the doors and the vehicle up front.
Awesome. Did you see any hostages inside the bank?
I was not looking in the bank. I heard over the radio we had hostages inside, and I did see them get released in compliance with the demands of the people inside.
Thank you. So you were part of the pursuit as Captain Arnom described that went all over the city. We won't go over that again.
Okay.
Which car did you mainly concentrate on?
The Black Buffalo.
The Black Buffalo. So that was your main
Primary
point.
task, yes.
Yeah. The Black Buffalo went to the Pink Cage Motel in the alleyway behind, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, objection, leading.
Oh, that's a different question. It's okay, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Where did the Buffalo go after the Pacific Standard Bank?
It drove all around the city.
Did you see anyone leave the vehicle?
I did not see anyone leave the vehicle on initial pursuit.
Okay.
I saw 3 individuals get in, and I called them over the air and let people know who was getting into the vehicle. Well, at least the descriptions.
And can you describe all 3?
Yes, one was a red jumper with a red mask. One was green jumper with a green mask, and one was blue. They all 3 had different colors.
Was the defendant one of these suspects?
Considering that we arrested him on scene in the vehicle, yes.
Can you tell me what color he was wearing?
I can't remember which one he was wearing at the time. I'll be honest
Okay.
with you.
No worry.
It's been a while since that pursuit happened.
It's all good. Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right.
Defense, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Permission to approach?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, first one. This one's on my mind, so I'll go ahead and ask. You said you couldn't remember which one he was of the suspects. How can you be sure he was actually there?
Because we fingerprinted him after the station after apprehending him?
Were you there for the fingerprinting?
No, I was in the report. What in the heck?
Just gasping.
You also said they drove
It's
around
okay.
the
I got a
city.
briefcase, everyone. It's okay.
And they went to the canals. What did they do while driving through the canals?
Drove?
Could you elaborate a little more?
Drove fast?
Gotcha. Did they ever take a turn out of the canals, or how did they leave?
I can't honestly remember. This was 3 weeks ago. I've been in other pursuits since then. I don't know how they left the canals.
Then how can you be sure it was the same black buffalo that wrecked out?
It was being followed by myself and Air One.
All right. The hostages were released for the free passage, no spikes, etc. You know, correct?
That was what I recall over the air. Again, this was a few weeks ago, but yes.
In your opinion, as an officer, is it standard practice to get witness statements from hostages?
Not normally, no. We check and make sure they're okay, that they weren't harmed, make sure they're okay on food and water. We would clear the building in question and then ask if they need a ride if it was in our power to do so. We would ask if they dropped any names or anything, but most of the time, they don't.
Is it standard practice to not get the names of the hostages, though?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people getting the hostages' names.
According to the Victims' Rights Act, which is recognized by the city, victims do have a right to know the status of an offender who hurts them.
Okay.
Or does something against them.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
I will show my relevance here in a second.
Please do.
If
Oh, sorry. Overruled. Yes, overruled.
Your Honor, I would like to object on the simple fact that this has no relevance to any of the charges that we are
it
charging.
has relevance to the hostage-taking charge, Your Honor.
I would say sustained. Your question is more relevant to a civil case.
Understood. No further questions.
Prosecution would like to redirect.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Sergeant Storm, you are free to return to your seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Can I just mention that these explosions are they're just perfect, Okay, sorry. Prosecution,
Hey
do you have any
boys, lay
further
off
witnesses?
the explosions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is your defendant admitting to a crime right now?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Walker, would you like to explain yourself?
I'm here in court, standing before you. I haven't done anything, man.
There is no possible way he could be committing a crime right now. There's in a room full of witnesses seeing him stand there, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Please watch your outbursts, even if they're a joke. Okay. All right, prosecution. Your next witness.
I'd like to see if Sergeant Stoner is here.
All right, Sergeant Stoner, if you would, go ahead and raise both hands for me. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right.
Permission to approach, Your Honor.
Please do so.
Sergeant Stoner, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Sergeant Stoner, on the date in question, which was October 7th, 2021, were you involved at the the alarm call at the Pacific Standard Bank located on Alta Street and Vinewood Boulevard as shown in Exhibit 1?
I was not at the actual bank. I attached to the pursuit after it had started.
Okay, and which vehicle were you pursuing?
To start, a black and color Sultan. Or
You say to start.
Buffalo.
Did you chase the Sultan at all?
I did. For after Pink Cage, I attached to the initial chase on the Sultan.
You mentioned Pink Cage.
Yes, sir.
What happened at Pink Cage?
We'd approached the back alley to the north of Pink Cage. At this time, of the 3 located in the vehicle, 2 had hopped out, jumped the wall to get into another vehicle. Air 1 had called out that they had a Sultan staged, so myself and another officer sped around to the front to join in a pursuit with that vehicle.
We have already established through other testimony what the suspects in this chase were wearing. And the defendant has been described as let's call him the green suspect. Did you see the green suspect leave the Buffalo?
I did.
And did you see where he went?
He jumped the wall into Pink Cage. At that time, I didn't care to look to see what car he was getting into. I just was relying on the other officers.
That's okay. That was covered by one. So you then proceeded to chase the secondary vehicle, which was the Sultan.
Correct.
Okay. So we know that this chase went all over town and ended up, I believe, how did the chase end?
We had gone down into the canals going southbound. They had tried to ramp from the canals onto the freeway and failed, and they ended up smashing into a warehouse. At this point, the vehicle had stalled and the driver had been knocked unconscious.
What happened to the suspect that was not unconscious?
He had got out and bailed on foot.
And what was that suspect wearing?
That gentleman was in all red.
So he was the red suspect, as I like.
Yes, sir.
Which color suspect was the driver?
Green. I had actually called out that he was the one on the radio as I was getting out of my car to chase the one in red.
Okay. Did you catch the guy in red? Matter of interest?
I chased him up onto the freeway. There he had pulled a weapon. We exchanged fire. Ended up subduing each other.
Okay. Did you at any point search the green suspect?
I did not, as I had needed medical attention.
Do you know which officer did?
I believe Kenny Moon, 5'2".
Kenny Moon. Thank you. I just want to reiterate that you saw the green suspect, which is the defendant behind me,
Objection,
drive.
leading.
I haven't even asked the question. Okay, which color suspect was driving the Salt?
Green.
Is the defendant behind me the green suspect?
I do not know.
Will you stop with that? Sorry.
Yeah, stop.
I'd process the red suspect.
Okay, no worries. Thank you for your time. No further questions.
Defense, do you have any questions for the Sergeant Stoner?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you're free to step back. Prosecution, do you have any further witnesses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd like to call 528 Moon. I'm sorry, I don't know your rank. We have no Moon?
I apologize, sorry.
Nothing.
Yeah, this is a quick trial. They really go quick when we're not on them.
Which
huh?
side would you
Holy
like me,
shit.
Your Honor?
To the right of my chair.
We've already got through 4 of the witnesses.
Just
Well,
make
so
sure
we
you
only had
pull
one
the,
on our case and it took an
talk to
hour
the
and
bailiff,
30
please.
minutes.
I apologize.
Well, if you would, go ahead and raise both hands for me. You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
I guess
Go
we'll
ahead and
hear.
have a seat right there next to the chair.
Permission to approach, Your Honor.
I think they're long
Granted.
winded.
Thank you. I'm going to say Officer Moon. Is that your rank? Sorry.
Very true.
Senior officer.
Senior Officer, I apologize. Senior Officer Moon, how are you today?
Doing fine.
Good, good. Right. Let's get to business. On October the 7th, 2021, did you respond to an alarm being triggered at the Pacific Standard Bank located on Alta Street and Vinewood Boulevard, as shown in Exhibit 1?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Were you at the bank during the robbery?
Give much attention to it.
Yes, I believe I was the 3rd unit to respond, the person to show up.
Okay. Did you see inside the bank?
Negative. We had gotten reports that there were multiple hostages and then brief reports of the hostage takers based on their apparel.
Do you know who dealt with the negotiations?
I don't even know what's going on, to be honest.
I can't recall, unfortunately.
Okay, no. Usually as 3rd unit, is that the job to look after the hostages?
Usually, but I believe we had a cadet on scene.
Oh, nice.
I don't recall completely, but I was in charge of holding the back door during the negotiations.
Okay. So I take, did you see the suspects leave?
Yes.
Oh, you did. And we have described previously through the other testimonies what the suspects were wearing. Can you tell me your interpretation of what the suspects look like?
Yeah, of course. Looked to be like a, in my opinion, in my own words, like a military-style jumpsuit. One in all red, one in all green, one in all blue.
Okay. And did you see them get into a vehicle?
Yes, the black and colored buffalo on scene.
Okay, is that the one that was parked outside the front doors in Exhibit 2A?
Yes, sir.
Awesome sauce.
Ooh.
So, did you take part in the pursuit?
Yes, I was tertiary on the pursuit, leading up to the point to where they got to the pink cage.
Okay, we've already discussed a pink cage, what happened, but did you see what happened there?
Seems like
Yeah,
a
two individuals
fan.
jumped out. I believe Angela Storm continued on with the Buffalo, while myself and another unit
like his
decided to
pants-
chase on the Sultan that
I gotta
they
make sure
entered
my
a
head's the
pink
right way.
cage.
This is the one where you see.
And I'm so tempted to call them the green and red Power Ranger, but I'm not going to. Did the green and red... sorry, I'll ask a different question. Which color suspects left the Buffalo for the Salt?
Green and red.
Green and red.
Blue maintained himself in the Buffalo, and then, like I stated previously, was then chased by Angela Storm.
Awesome. So you chased the Salt.
Yes, sir.
And we heard from Sergeant Stoner, I believe, on how the chase ended.
Yeah. Would you like me to reiterate in my own words?
Yes, please, sir.
So, the chase was led to the canals, I believe, northbound initially. They had turned around, went southbound, and tried to jump from the canals up onto, I believe, the Del Perro freeway. When they missed, they had a head-on collision with the freeway itself, and Mr. Walker was incapacitated in the vehicle on scene.
And in your recollection, what color was Mr. Walker wearing?
All green jumpsuit.
Okay, and he was the driver of the Sultan. I just want to
Yes, sir.
reiterate that, man. I believe it was said earlier that you searched the defendant.
Yes, yeah. I was the individual that provided aid and searched them.
Can you tell me if exhibits D1 and D2 are what you found on the defendant?
Yeah, bear with me. I'm going to take a quick look at the exhibits.
No problem.
What was found on the defendant that I had taken off, that I had confiscated was the knuckle dusters, the one lockpick, thermite, a handful of zip ties, and I believe I had taken his phone and radio as well.
Okay. So, in answer to my question, D1, exhibits D1 and D2 were what you found in the suspect's pockets?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you said you took knuckle dusters from
Yes, just precautionary measures just to make sure for officer safety.
It's also illegal contraband, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And this pursuit that you were all in.
Can you, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. So we've done that, I think I cannot. Oh, actually, did you do a GSR test on the suspect?
I believe Arnom had GSR'd him as we were engaged in another firefight, which incapacitated Angela Storm. So I was assisting in making sure Storm was retrieved safely, and I believe Arnom had gotten out Air 1 to provide a GSR test on him.
Okay, no worries. Thank you very much. Senior Officer, no further questions.
Defense, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Permission to move freely?
Please do so.
All right, you said you were, what is it, tertiary or secondary in this chase?
Tertiary.
Gotcha. And you're on the...
Sorry, I'll reiterate. I became secondary once they entered the Sultan. On the main chase from the bank to the pit cage, I was third unit involved.
Thank you. No further questions. I just wanted to clear that up.
All right, sir, you may return to your seat.
Thank you.
Prosecution, any further witnesses?
If they are here, Officer 250 Hurst. I'll take that as a no. No further witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, do you have any witnesses to call today?
Could we request a 5-minute recess, Your Honor?
Yeah, 5 minutes it is on the clock. Back here at 9:41.
What are we doing?
All rise. District Court of San Andreas is back in session. Honorable Judge Castillo is still presiding.
Good to meet. Big ol' oof.
Yeah, that's what happened to Miranda. She's like,
All right, please be seated.
Fair enough. I respect.
Defense, are you ready to proceed?
she's like, all right, fuck this. I'm
Yes, Your Honor.
Gotcha. I don't know how she didn't get in and I did.
All right. Do you have a witness to call this evening?
I do not, but I do have a motion, Your Honor.
In your motion?
We motion to dismiss the charge of PC 1108 hostage taking federal, as the prosecution has failed to provide any of the hostages that were allegedly taken, and my client has a right to face his accuser.
Your Honor, my rebuttal to that would be you have heard testimony from more than one officer stating hostages were used in this. Their names do not need to be supplied because that, as was previously mentioned, a civil case.
I don't even. That's bail, though, I think.
I would say motion dismissed, as there was testimony that the hostages were in fact present. Motion denied at this time. And then now we'll move on to closing arguments. During this 5 minutes time, did you, I imagine you guys don't need any further time for closing arguments?
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
And is the defense ready for closing arguments?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecution, the will is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we
I'm Officer Hurst.
Sorry, what now?
I'm Officer Hurst. I heard I was called down here for witness statement.
It's all good. Thank you, though. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
Take a moment to collect yourself.
Okay, we're all good. The prosecution today has shown through testimony and evidence submitted and accepted that the defendant, Philip Walker, was involved in a bank robbery, a police chase, taking hostages, and found in possession of illegal contraband. We have shown this. The officers have all stated they saw this defendant taking part in every single part of the story that's been heard today. We have proven each case, each charge, through these testimonies, backed up by picture evidence, as stated in the docket and provided to this court. That we have proved beyond a doubt that the defendant committed all charges. Thank you, Your
Honor. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution has failed to show that my client was driving the vehicle in the situation that he is alleged to have been in. As such, he should be found not guilty of PC 2309, felony evading law enforcement vehicle. Prosecution has also failed to provide witness testimony for the alleged hostages, as well as, one second, Your Honor. They have also failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he was in possession of illegal contraband or that he was involved in the robbery. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I will deliberate and I'll be back shortly.
Yo, his pockets. Those items weren't on. They didn't even bring it up either. These lawyers right here.
All rise. District Court of San Andreas is back in session. Honorable Judge Castillo is still presiding.
Breathe, sir. Jesus.
All right. All right. In the case of State of San Andreas versus Philip Walker, case number 17974. For the charges, for the first charge, PC 1107, and our federal bank robbery, I do find you guilty. Let's see here.
Wait, federal?
For PC 1108, hostage taking, for this I do find you guilty as well. For PC 2309, felony evading law enforcement in a vehicle, I do find you guilty. For PC 3207, possession of illegal contraband, I also find you guilty. In regards to the hostage taking, the victim does not need to be present.
Your Honor.
The accusation is coming from the state, and the victim doesn't necessarily need to be present at time. For the unarmed federal bank robbery, there was thermite in possession of the individual, so it is, and then as they were actively dressed in coordination, red, blue, and green, I do find them an active participant in said robbery. As they were also in possession of knuckle dusters, I do find that they were guilty of possession of legal contraband, and I believe I have covered all 4 charges. Defense, you are most welcome to appeal my decision to the Superior Court if you wish, but this is my findings at this time. Let's see here. According to the docket, you have already served your time. Prosecution, are you asking for any additional time or time served?
Raiden, we can't hear you.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, man.
I believe he has paid his fine and served his time for these crimes.
It is very irregular to charge someone. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's if there's bail. I apologize. Okay, so are you okay with the? Do you find it necessary to apply any further
I do not
time?
want to add any further time. We
Okay.
can do that every day this week, I think.
Okay. Yes, the court does not find it necessary either to add additional time or fine. Let me see if there's anything else I need to do here. Oh yes, I apologize, Mr. Walker. You are allowed to. Actually, I think I probably should have done that before the charges. I apologize. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the court at this time?
Me?
Yes, sir. You're allowed to speak.
Oh, all these officers committed perjury today. Just saying. That's all.
All right.
But I lost him in the tunnels for 2 minutes, but you rat.
All right. This court session is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
God bless Your Honor. Where's Stoner? Stoner, was it you that I smacked in the tunnels? In the tunnels? With these spike strips?